Hello, everybody, and welcome to another exciting edition of Off Track TV Live, coming to you live from the Weedsport Production Studios in Weedsport, New York. Along with Dan Kapuscinski, my name is the voice, Shane Andrews, and we are ready for another exciting show, Dan.
That's right, Shane. Hey, good thing we're inside this time for the show. It's a bit stormy outside here in Weedsport today, but looking forward to recapping another great week of action.
It sure has been a great week and a lot of things to cover, so let's get right to things. Of course, Dan and I always like to take your questions, so if there's something you want to talk about or you want to ask us, all you have to do is find us at info@weedsportproductions.com. No S on that, just one com. .com. We're on Facebook. We are on Facebook Live, so hit us up there. Or you can hit me on Twitter at NYVoice13. And Dan, of course, has
Dan is, I'm at Dan_Kapuscinski.
Yeah, I still haven't learned to spell that yet. So what he said is a way to find him. And, of course, like us on the Weedsport production page on Facebook. Well, before we get into the dirt track racing portion, got to say congratulations once again. Third win of the season, Danny K at the Oswego Speedway. Another one. Great job.
Yeah, we've things have been kind of falling our way. I've raced a lot of years there, 20 years, and things never usually worked out for me. But this year, that seems to be happening one week after another. And really happy to be on top of the points and looking forward to another good week this week.
Fantastic. Well, best of luck and stay safe. Point leader and three-time feature winner at the Oswego Speedway in 2021. Well, last weekend here at the Weedsport Speedway, things were busy. We had the modified division in town for a 35-lap race. And, Dan, I say this every time the modifieds take to the Speedway at Weedsport for a 35-lap dance on a Sunday night. It's like flashback to years ago here at the port.
Absolutely, and a great mix of drivers in the pit area this past week as well. 30 modifieds. One of those, Zach Payne, right there on the pole position. Shane, he just won the Sportsman Classic, and now he's leading the big blocks here at the port.
And they're probably asking, well, why is Zach Payne in a modified? Well, that's the family car. The Mike Payne owned a number 7Z machine. He is allotted up to 6 races in a modified without losing his status in the sportsman ranks.
And it makes perfect sense. He's got all the confidence in the world here running at Weedsport. The track conditions quite a bit similar, so he was just rolling that 7 on the bottom side as Tim Sears and Larry White started to do battle on the outside.
He started on the pole position. He fell back to second, and then Lightning Larry White doing what Lightning does, and that is going to the top side, putting that right rear sneaker up against that cushion and taking over position number 2, but Lightning wasn't finished. Tim Sears Jr. in the 83X, who's won here in a sportsman, but never in a modified, leading the way until Lightning takes over the number 1 spot.
Yeah, that's right. These two would battle the entire distance of this one. It's crazy to think that this battle started on lap 4, lap 5, and it literally carries all the way to the end. They were on the inside, the outside, and of course, Larry trying to prevent Tim Sears from continuing that off-track TV bump we've been seeing some of the drivers get lately.
That's right. Tim Sears was a guest here and went out and won a race. Peter Britton did the same thing. I wonder if our guest here tonight will get that same luck from us.
Find out.
Yes, we will. But these two drivers, like you said, Dan, back and forth, top and bottom throughout the race, and it was Tim Sears holding off Larry White to pick up his first modified win and a trip to Victory Hill here at the port. Larry White coming home in second, and a very entertaining modified race and a different racetrack than what we saw previously back on the Sportsman Classic.
Yeah, absolutely. I was very, very surprised, very happy to see a bit of a cushion on the outside of turns 3 and 4. A lot of moisture in the racetrack, bite on the inside, the outside, and then, of course, it allowed that slick lane through the middle for guys to pull slide jobs, try to roll the middle. Literally 3 different lanes on the racetrack for that modified feature.
And that cushion in the on the racing surface all the way around the corners, of course, helped us with our next event, and that, of course, being a 25-lap Lucas Oil Empire Super Sprint feature as we get the green 24 cars strong and the Cobra Chuck Hebing right up there on top of the heap off of corner number 2 off of that cushion, jumping out to the lead.
First of all, just fantastic to see sprint cars back at Weedsport. It seemed like it had been forever since we had seen wing sprint car racing, but a little bit of action here between turns 1 and 2. Sammy Reeks and a couple others getting tangled up.
And Chad Miller in the 88C flopping it over on his wing. All drivers were A-OK. On the restart, Jonathan Preston in the 22 would try to challenge the number 45 of Chuck Hebing, but Hebing up to the challenge as he would rocket back into the number 1 spot. Larry White in that white and red number 99L doing double duty on the night, running both the sprint and the big block.
That's right, and he actually got a win in his sprint car at the Brewerton Speedway as a part of CNY Speed Week for the ES SS Sprinters as we see Jason Barney starting to make his presence known on the inside of the racetrack, making quick work of Danny Varon there as he gets ready to battle Paulie Colagiovanni.
And that was the car on the move, was Paulie Colagiovanni in the number 10 machine. The 2019, and I guess you could still say reigning Empire Super Sprint champion, was on the move in car number 10. And here he is closing in on race leader Chuck Hebing, making things interesting in traffic right here off of turn number 4.
Yeah, they came down to the stripe. Hebing, of course, gets the win in the 45. Another couple laps that might have been interesting there as Paulie C was really coming on strong.
Chuck Hebing picks up the win for the Central New York Speed Week finale for the Empire Super Sprints, and a popular win here for the Cobra at the Weedsport Speedway.
Absolutely. Always good to see that 45 car. Whenever I see Chuck on track, I remember the World of Outlaws show a couple years ago when it really slicked off. He was here in his 360 and battled up front in that race all night long. So it's always good to see Chuck back at Weedsport and doing well.
A popular win for the driver out of Ontario, New York. We have plenty of action. We're just scratching the tip of the surface here tonight. We have a very special guest coming into house here with us this evening. As a matter of fact, she's pretty familiar with that number 45, the Cobra. It's Kelly Hebing, the driver of the number 10 on the Empire Super Sprint Tour. She'll be right here with us in studio when we come back to Off Track TV Live.
Weedsport Speedway is home of the fastest cars and biggest stars. With over $1 million in recent upgrades, our fans know this is the premier race destination in the Northeast. The fan experience is at the forefront of everything we do. LED light shows, luxury suites, premium stadium seating, and a 27-foot HD video display to engage and entertain fans. And by the way, our fans, our fans kick ass. They are committed and loyal. They bring their families to races. They consistently engage with us over social media, on our website, and tune into our incredible productions airing on national TV and streaming online. This year features an exciting season of events. It's a blast to go fast. Want to talk to a growing audience and next-generation fans? Customized sponsorship opportunities make it super easy. We have event sponsorships, product sponsorships, digital billboards, web, social, digital ads, race day displays and signage, booths and promotions. Video opportunities both in venue, on national TV, and streaming online. The drivers, the excitement, the speed. The pork burgers are why fans show up. At Weedsport Speedway, our venue and production are the reason they keep coming back. Be a part of the best season yet.
The Chevy Silverado Trail Boss. When you have a 2-inch lift, when you have Goodyear Duratrack tires, when you have Rancho shocks and an integrated dual exhaust, when you have all that, the last thing you'll need is a road. The Chevy Silverado Trail Boss, ready to off-road, right from the factory.
See your Central New York Chevy dealers.
Welcome back to Off Track TV Live. Shane Andrews, Dan Kapuscinski along with you here on a beautiful Thursday night. And joining us here in studio, the driver of the number 10 on the Empire Super Sprint Tour, Kelly Hebing. Hello, Kelly, and welcome to Off Track TV.
Hi, guys. Thanks for having me.
Oh, our pleasure. Thanks for taking time to come in and talk to us. This past week, a pretty busy week. They were scheduled for 5 races, only got a few of them in, 3 of them in. But, you know, the Central New York Speed Week has really taken off with the Empire Super Sprints. What's it take to get through a week like that?
A lot of preparation. We actually got 4 nights in.
4.
The only
Okay.
night we missed there was Thursday, and that's Canandaigua, and it's the home track. But a nice little break was all right for the 5 nights in a row. It gets pretty long, but just thank God we have guys that help out in the shop. Otherwise, I don't know how you'd get ready for 5 nights.
Is there a track in that stretch that you feel suits you better than others?
I think Fulton, just because I've run so well there. That'd be the first one I pick, I guess. But other than that, we have fun at all the close tracks.
Now, Canandaigua being your home track, obviously, right there in Ontario, New York. I'm sure that with the weather, you didn't want to see that happen, but you have a very popular fan base there, so I'm sure that's one you really wanted to be at.
Yeah, I like getting back there. Ever since I moved up to the 360s, I don't get to go there much at all, but yeah, every Saturday I was there for 10 years watching Dad in the big blocks.
So what's it been like, as your career has sort of progressed? You talk about your father, Chuck Hebing. I notice you guys are always on the four-wheeler together. What's that chemistry like when you're actually at the racetrack?
I think I'm pretty lucky out of everyone in the pit area. I think I got one of the best teachers out
Sure.
there. So it's good to pick his brain. After this week, we had a few good runs, and he told me he was going to stop working on my stuff because I got ahead of the 45 a couple times, but then he got me beat last Sunday here.
Now, I think that was extra motivation for him because when I talked to him pre-race on Sunday, I asked him, I said, you run real good here. You're going to win tonight. He says, well, I need to finish ahead of Kelly because I'm sick of listening to her.
We all got joking around Saturday after Fulton. I said, will you stop messing around and go win a race for me or something? And so then I think Mom gives him a little too. And she goes, okay, get back up there. So
That little extra motivation never hurts.
no, not at all.
Right. But Sunday didn't end up as much or as good as you probably would have liked, I would say.
No, I struggled early, and with ESS we have timed hot laps, so once you're behind like anything. Right. And oh, there I am on the hook. But thankfully the group we race with is a great group, and we had enough time to get a front axle back in the car, and I got to make laps again, and it put me ahead of 5 cars or so, and it kept me in the speed week points. So
it's more than a group, really. It's a traveling family. The amount of time that everybody spends together, it's its own community, really, isn't it?
Absolutely. And we've gained the best of friends out of the stuff. And like you said, when we travel in groups, and wherever we stay, there's 4 teams that stay with us, and you kind of cook out and hang out. Sure. And it makes it fun, takes some of the stress away from it. After
2020, it's got to feel good to get back on the horse again.
Yeah, I think we raced like twice, and both times were at Penn Can for me last year. So it feels good to get back on the road and get racing.
Now, there is a race off the dirt that is at Evans Mills Speedway on the asphalt every year, and you had a very good showing up there this season with that.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun there. We turned the quickest lap at Evans Mills, and we started 5th, and I won the heat race, and I ran around in 3rd the whole race, and I was way too cautious. I thought the 2 guys in front of me were going to use up their stuff, and I was going to get lucky, but I should have pushed the envelope a little more.
So what does Kelly want to do in the future? Does she want to stay in the 360s, or does she have other aspirations in racing that she'd like to challenge?
I'd like to stay in the 360s. I think some people, as soon as they get running good, they move up, and that's where you screw up kind of thing. So I think I need to keep taking my top 10s and top 5s and keep pushing on. I'd like Dad to slow down a little more and become my crew chief instead of racing against me, and so that'd be one more spot on the racetrack.
Talking about maybe future aspirations, but let's give some folks an idea of where you came from, how you started racing, and how you've gotten to this point.
Well, Mom and I were going over stuff before I came here with you guys, and I went to my first Super Dirt Week at 3.5 weeks old, so wow. I've been doing the dirt racing thing for a long time, and I've been listening to you for a long time. And
what she nicely just said is you're old, Shane.
I didn't say it. But
he is
my
wise.
14th birthday, I got a 270 micro, and I did that till like 2013, and then Danny Wilmus surprised me with a 305 ride. And everyone was excited besides my mom.
That's how it works.
Yeah, and then I did that for 2-3 years, and it was just hard because I still liked going to see Dad and Jeff Cook and stuff like that and racing with them. So we started taking my 305 to 360 races, and then 2017 is when I went full-time 360.
Great.
I always ask drivers, especially when they get into a division where they've seen their heroes race, and I'm going to assume, and I'm pretty positive when I assume this, that your dad is your racing hero.
Yeah.
The first time that you strapped into a 360 and you lined up next to that iconic number 45 and you looked over, and not only he's your dad, but he's also a competitor. What was the emotions like when you first did that?
Well, quick funny story. My first time in a 360 was Utica Rome, and then in 2016, and it was his backup car, and I got to taste the 360 in hot laps, and he blew up, and he took it right out from under me and had to go finish the race. But yeah, exactly what you said. Looking over and being able to race with Dad, and all the years of getting to watch him, it's a really cool feeling.
So is there any place you haven't driven that 360 yet that you'd like to take it to?
I'd like to travel. Like I said, I think I knew I needed to get good or better at home.
Sure.
Before you go out on the road and stuff. But there was a Patriot race last year that obviously got canceled out in Eldora. And I don't know if I'm quite ready to race around Eldora, but I definitely would have gone just to say you've been to Eldora with your dad and,
Sure.
and Joe and our family and stuff like that. That would have been a really cool thing.
Chuck's number 45, you're number 10. Where'd the 10 come from?
It's not really a cool story. It is a cool story, but when I raced 305s, there was already a 45.
Okay.
And there was no 10. And our best friends, and they're like a second family, the Cooks, he's number 10. So I was the number 10 in 305s, and then it stuck, and now there's 3 number 10s in the 316 ranks.
Yes, there is. Fortunately, they are all different colored cars, so it's easy for an announcer like me to be able to distinguish who's who.
There you go. Now, do you letter your own race car?
I do.
That's awesome.
Yeah, until we start wrecking stuff, and then it's I have to re-letter Dad's and mine's car.
That's not a bad thing, though. It keeps you gainfully employed with your sign business.
Something like that.
Something like that, yeah. We're visiting here with Kelly Hebing, driver of the number 10 of the Empire Super Sprint Tour here in Central New York and the Northeast. And, we've talked all this time about your dad and your racing career. I think we ought to talk a little bit and give Michelle, Mom, a little bit of love out there, too, because, they say behind every good man is a good woman. Well, behind this young lady right here, who's very talented behind the wheel, is a very good woman and a mom. Your mom has to be one of the strongest-willed persons that I know, especially having her husband and her daughter out on the racetrack.
Absolutely. My mom takes a lot of crap from my dad, and I won't even deny that. She puts up with a lot, but for the past 2 years, it's been Mom and I on the road, and I give her a lot, but I give her a lot more credit, too, because she's my crew chief, she's the four-wheeler pusher, and she's got to put up with Dad's and mine attitude by the end of the night, so she puts up with a lot.
I can't think of a much better family dynamic, though, to be able to go around and doing what you're doing. It seems awesome.
That's exactly what my mom and I had a conversation about. I got a house with Joe this year, and so she was obviously sad that I moved out and that stuff, and I go, oh, you're pretty lucky more than other people. Every weekend we spend together, so right. It's not much different.
But that's such a cool dynamic because in the history of racing, we hear so much about the fathers and son teams, but this is a very unique dynamic with the mother and daughter, and I'm sure that has built a very special bond between the two of you.
Absolutely. She gets nervous still, but she's doing a lot better because we have no other choice. She's there and she's got to work.
Well, my son Michael is going to be turning 5, and I'm sure he's going to start racing relatively soon. I'll have to come talk to your mom and find out how she deals with it.
Good luck.
For the young racers out there or the young kids that are watching that are racing karts right now or starting out in that micro sprint, the 270, or even thinking about getting into the 305, what advice would you give them?
Work on your stuff. That was, I don't want to say a rule from day one, but that was always my dad's thing.
Sure.
Is I'll have the stuff to race, just you're the one to wrench on it. And I think even now, the older I get and the more you pay attention to stuff, I think that's the difference between the racer I was 4 years ago and who I am now is working on your own stuff. You understand way more than just getting in the car and not knowing what you have under you.
And even more than an understanding, it's a greater appreciation, I would say.
Oh, absolutely.
Too. And if doing that, too, gives you not only the greater appreciation, but also probably keeps you from putting yourself in a position on the racetrack that you normally wouldn't, especially if you have to repair the car.
Oh, absolutely. And I think I have it times 2 because I know I'm the one who has to letter it if I screw it up, too.
I like it.
Well, Kelly, thanks for coming out here tonight. Fantastic job here this evening. Great to see you out there running competitively. And, before we let you go, how big of a win was that for you and your family, for your dad on Sunday?
We love coming to Weedsport, and Alan, Betsy, and Jimmy are very special people to us, and to see Dad up on the hill was a really cool thing.
It was awesome, for sure.
And one final message to Michelle, go Cowboys. We gotta
see, I told him, Mom.
Kelly, thanks for coming in. Great job.
Thanks for
Good
having
luck
me.
the rest of the year.
Thank you. You too.
Kelly Hebing, the driver of the number 10 on the Empire Super Sprint Tour, here with us in studio. When we return, we have some highlights from the Super Dirt Car Series at the Ransomville Speedway that took place this past Tuesday night. More from Off Track TV when we return.
Weedsport Productions is the live video production company that you need at your next event. Our mobile production truck is outfitted with the most advanced broadcast equipment in the industry. Weedsport Productions covers racing, live sporting events, corporate events, and concerts. We can broadcast your event live, stream it to the internet, or produce an exciting in-venue experience for your audience. Visit weedsportproductions.com now to learn more.
The ground-pounding, earth-shaking beast of the Big Block Modified Super Dirt Car Series!
Welcome back to Off Track TV Live. And Dan, I've got to tell you, what a very personable and grounded young lady. And you can't help but be impressed with Kelly Hebing.
Absolutely. And such a fantastic representative of the sport at the same time, you know, because she can talk about anything and does it well. And every time she gets in that race car, she gets better as well.
She sure does. Mom and Dad should be very proud. A very talented and personable Kelly Hebing.
Absolutely.
That was a treat to have her in with us here tonight.
For sure.
You know, Dan, we were going to shift gears. We just talked to Kelly about the 360s. We just saw the Empire State Challenge, the World of Outlaws, NOS Energy Drink Sprint Cars, going to be back here on July 31st. Hope everybody will come out. More information on that at weedsportspeedway.com. But we're going to go from sprint cars back to modifieds. It was the 36th edition of the Summer Nationals at the Ransomville Speedway this Tuesday night. And, boy, what a show we had. It was what we didn't expect, but it was something that we did expect when we were at the end of the race.
Yeah, once we got down to the green flag racing here, first of all, over 40 modifieds in the pit area for this event. A fantastic feel as to see Stuart Friesen and Larry White doing battle here early on. They were all chasing Matt Williamson, Shane, but by about lap 15, we kind of knew the direction we were headed. The track was somewhat starting to lock down just a little bit, and as it turned out, this move by Matt Shepard on this restart was what really won him the race.
Shepard in the 9S would jump up to the number one spot, putting Matt Williamson back to second, and a battle with Stuart Friesen's 44 up to position number 3. One driver on the move, the number 21A of Peter Britton, as he would be working on getting into the top 5. You see them right there challenging the Larry White, number 99.
That's right. Peter started all the way back in the 8th position, did a fantastic job early on in this one, including right here on this restart, rolling up and around the 44 of Stuart Friesen, and that's not a move that a lot of people were able to make at this point of the race, and he got it done.
And then he takes a peek underneath the Williamson, number 88, for position number 2, but he would have to be content with the 3rd spot right now. As Dan mentioned, the track did rubber up, it did lock down, and we saw the talent of these drivers, because you've really got to be on your mark to keep that car down in the rubber.
You certainly do, and unfortunately, when you're in that rubber for 60-some laps, you'll occasionally get a flat right rear tire, and Matt Williamson was up front the entire distance. He was the first driver, unfortunately, towards the end of many that we saw lose that right rear sneaker.
Matt Shepard would lead with Peter Britton and Stuart Friesen giving chase. And how about Chris Heil? Started back in the 16th position and made his way up to position number 4.
Tell you what, Heil, we talk about it all the time, getting better and better, and these type of racetracks almost suit him a little bit. You know, talking more slick, but these hard black surfaces, that 5 car always runs very well.
Heil, unfortunately, would have a right rear sneaker go down, and with 1 to go, Matt Shepard in the number 9S hit his marks, and no surprise, once Shepard got out in front and he kept that car on the bottom, he would cruise to the win for the Summer Nationals at Ransomville.
Yeah, the experience at the front of this field was obvious, because those are the drivers that really know how to take care of that right rear shoe, and there was not much tread left on the right rear of that 9S in victory lane.
Shepard won it with Stuart Friesen second, and Mike Mahaney coming home in position number 3. Next time the Super Dirt Car Series takes to the racetrack will be this Tuesday night,
That's
Albany
right.
Saratoga Speedway.
Yep, a postponed event. It got
Yes.
rained out, I believe, a week or so ago, and now coming back here on Tuesday. Looking forward to seeing the guys back in action.
Well, we always invite everybody to send in your questions to challenge Dan and I. So you ready, Dan? You up for the task? All right. Here we go. A 358 Wheeler asks, how much rubber was left on Matt Shepard's right rear at Ransomville?
Well, I was fortunate enough to be able to, I did the top 3 interviews, and I made sure to check out all 3 right rear tires. I can say from my vantage point, Shepard's was the most abused. There was hardly any tread left on that right rear tire. Stuart Friesen, however, looked like he had a little bit left in the tank, but like we were talking about, it wasn't like Friesen was going to be able to get out of the rubber and take advantage. He was pretty much stuck where he was, but I don't know that Shepard would have been able to go too many laps, to be honest with you.
I was impressed, and now I couldn't see what the tire tread wear was from up in the tower,
Sure.
but I will say this. I was impressed. Midway through the race, Matt Shepard actually caught one of the slower cars in the back of the pack, Derek McGrew. And he followed Derek McGrew for at least 25 laps. Did not challenge him, did not push him, didn't step out of line, and really just let the racetrack come to him. He actually dictated that race and that pace.
Yeah, there's no doubt, especially in that middle portion. He knows there's going to be another caution that's going to come out that's going to realign the field. It actually kind of reminded me a little bit of going to a race at Bowman Gray Stadium where occasionally the leader gets to the back of the pack, and they know if they try to lap that driver, that second place is going to bear right down on him. So it's just the experience that these guys have at the front. Matt knew exactly what he was doing in that instance.
Suns Out, Guns Out wants to know who is going to win the Super Dirt Series race Tuesday night at Albany, Saratoga. Who's your pick?
Man, who would be my pick? You know, I'm gonna come out and say Mike Mahaney. I think Mahaney is a champion there at Albany Saratoga. He's been improving, a feature winner this year. He's been up front. I think he's up to 3rd now in the Super Dirt Car Series standing. So I'm going to say Mahaney notches his first Super Dirt Car Series win on Tuesday.
That's a very good pick, and that's one that I would agree with. And I'm also going to take it another step. I'm going to go with a driver that is, well, right now he's got 2 wins in a row out on the series, and that's Matt Shepard. Lebanon Valley and Ransomville. I think he's found his stride here. We're getting into the dog days of summer.
Yep.
This is where Matt Shepard really starts to pick it up. I wouldn't be surprised to see him go 3 in a row on the tour. But there's also a bunch of other drivers that I wouldn't count out while we go to Albany Saratoga Speedway. You've got Demetrius Drelos that runs good there. Ronnie Johnson on his home turf. Stuart Friesen, if he's there, is a driver that gets around that track as well. But I think right now my pick would be Matt Shepard.
It's the fun thing about the Super Dirt Car Series. You go to Central New York, you have your group of guys that are going to challenge the series. You get out to Western New York. I mean, whatever region of the state of the tour that you're in, there's always going to be that select group of guys that are going to give the regulars a run for their money.
There sure is, and that's what makes it exciting.
Yep.
I can't wait for Tuesday night. Zippy Whippy 75 wants to know, how popular was the win by Chuck Hebing on Sunday night in the ESS?
Man, I feel like it was very popular. You know, Chuck is such again, like Kelly, personable guy, easy to get along with, great with the fans. It's always nice to see that 45 on victory.
I'll be perfectly honest with you, and as the announcer of that race, I'm not supposed to be biased. I'm not supposed to have favorites, okay? But I will tell you this. I picked it up a little bit more on those last couple of laps because it's Chuck Hebing. I've known Chuck Hebing since I started working in racing, doing the announcing at Brewerton Speedway back in the late 1990s. And I've seen him in the modifieds and seen him in the sprint cars, and him and his family have always been gracious to me. So that win, I'll tell you, you could hear the crowd over the cars when he came across the start-finish line. A very popular win for Chuck Hebing, not only with the fans, but also with his peers in the
absolutely.
In the
it's kind of that older guard hanging on a little bit. Paulie Colagiovanni is, there's no doubt he's been the guy to beat, and he gave Chuck a run for his money, but the Cobra bit. He got it done.
That's right. Sank his fangs into the port, right? Hey, next race coming up at the Weedsport Cartway next Thursday, July 15th. What do you have going on?
Well, we're going to have our 8-point classes again for the short port shootout, another one of our Thursday night programs. Shane, it was a hit last Thursday. I know for a fact people loved having you out there to do some of the coverage. We had free live streaming on Facebook. That's going to continue this Thursday, July 15th, so you can tune in to the Weedsport Productions Facebook page, watch the action for free streaming. And we took the green flag at 7 o'clock. We were done at 9:22. It was a fantastic night of racing.
And just so everybody knows, We do listen to your comments, your questions, and your critiques. You will not see as much, if any, Shane Andrews next Thursday. You'll see more kart racing than you will this bald head next Thursday. But you will see me for the Hall of Fame 100 right here at the Weedsport Speedway. The Super Dirt Car Series plus the Dirt Car Sportsman and the Vintage Modifieds. That's on Sunday, June 25th.
And Shane, I noticed today the Hall of Fame inductions are on that Thursday.
Yes.
Terry Rumsey is getting the
Yes.
media award,
Yes.
the Andrew Fusco Media Award. And, I met Terry a couple of times when we used to work in these offices way back in the day. You, of course, a lot more experience with Terry and that Dirt Motorsports crew from back in the day. But I was really excited to see Terry getting some acknowledgement that he certainly deserves.
Absolutely, is getting the Andrew Fusco Media Award for 2020. Actually, and of course, our driver inductions that day, we're going to have Joe Donahue is being inducted, Harold Bunning, Pat Ward, and Brett Hearn.
What a class.
Yeah,
top
it
to
is.
bottom.
And of course, our April May Preston Elms, Woman in Racing, Tico Conley is going to be getting an award. Billy Taylor is getting an award as well.
Fantastic.
It really is. And if I missed anybody, I'm doing this off of memory. I'm sorry. But congratulations to all our award winners. And it is free to the public at the Northeast Modified Hall of Fame on Thursday the 22nd, the precursor to the race on the 25th.
Always a great night and a great way to kick off that Hall of Fame.
Oh, fantastic. I can't wait. Glad to be a part of it. Well, Dan, this seems to be the fastest half hour in
Certainly
motorsports.
is.
Every Thursday we get together. Our next show for Off Track TV will be coming to you from right here at the Weedsport Production Studio on Thursday, August 5th. Can't wait to get back.
Looking forward to it.
Dan, good luck this weekend.
Thank you.
For
Thank
number
you.
4, stay safe, okay?
Hoping for it.
Absolutely. For everybody involved with Weedsport Productions, Brett Moses behind the camera and the board, thank you very much. For everybody associated with Weedsport, we appreciate everything you do. And thanks for tuning in tonight, race fans. We couldn't do it without you. For Danny K, my name is The Voice, Shane Andrews, saying thank you for joining us, and we'll see you at the races.